So, in the year 708, a man named Frederick Olympus Smith, he had his life changed forever. He was on his way home from a bake sale carrying frog leg crumpets, and he fell into a ditch, broke both his legs. He spent the next several days drinking puddle water and contemplating how he'd ever get out to see his loved ones again. That's when two kids came along the road and saw poor little Frederick Olympus Smith laying in the ditch, and he thought, "Thank God, I've been here for days. Thank you for saving me. You're gonna save me?" Technically, they saved him, but not in the way he was hoping. Instead of helping him out of the ditch, they started to paint a picture of him in the ditch. They wanted to capture the moment. His dilemma, it's like, oh, you're dying. This is art. This is art. This is fantastic. Give me a crimson red, hon. Yeah, he's bleeding. It's for the blood. Do you have any? Over the next 3 days, the children continued to paint him, not feeding him or nurturing him back to health or motivating him mentally that he could overcome this situation. No, they just ate his frog leg crumpets and painted his situation. By the end of the 3rd day, the children turned the painting around and showed Frederick Olympus Smith. They had captured the moment perfectly. There was a struggling man, starving, begging for frog leg crumpets, unable to walk, but when he saw that painting finished, he knew his calling. Capture the moment. Faster this time. That took 3 days, kids. You could have gave me 1 frog leg crumpet a day. And that's when the Olympus Camera Company was born. That's how it happened. So fast forward to this year, 2075. Nobody's talking about Olympus. What happened, Frederick? In all the hype over the last couple months, it's just been like mainly full frame mirrorless talk and some lenses. It's a weird, the Zeiss thing. We're a smartphone too, but we cost 4 times the price and have none of the functionality. Business model confirmed. Think about this. If you want to shoot video, you have many options, but there's a couple that people lean towards. You got the Panasonic GH5 series, the GH5S, and even the G9 is pretty darn good. So you got that whole Micro Four Thirds system, and then you go into the full frame. You got Canon Cinema line that nobody ever uses. Not one person uses them. You got the Sony A7 lineup, full frame, and then packed with a bunch of amazing features. No flippy screen, of course. That's where the Canon R comes in, gives you the flippy screen, takes away everything else. But people buy it. Even the Nikon Z Loser 7's getting some good reviews. Looks like a decent camera, decent system. One day it will develop into a desirable thing to have in your room. Panasonic full frame on the way. What's gonna happen there? Nobody's talking about Olympus though. No, 0 people. Pentax and Olympus. Even in the talkability factor. That's my Monkey Strength ebook in the background. You can change your life. Link is down below. If you think of it, what is Olympus really good at that they could provide beyond what Sony can do, what all the other camera companies can do? Really? It's the stabilization. That's all they have. And the ruggedness maybe. But like, oh wow, my camera will survive if I throw it to an alligator and he takes a selfie and rolls on it in the death spin. Like, if that's your daily life, you got other things to work on. But as of right now, I don't think many people would buy an Olympus camera for video over any of the other options. And let's talk about why that is.
You have the stabilest image, but your 1080p is softer than a Tempur-Pedic pillow adjusted for a spinal disorder.
First off, their best camera, the OMD EM159XM4 5911, like how many numbers and letters do you have? I only have so much I can remember in a day. You fucked that up. It's expensive. It's GH5 level territories. Why would anybody ever buy a Olympus over the GH5 or G9 even? It's like it doesn't do anything better than its Micro Four Thirds rivals. You're in a dark place, Olympus. And then comparing it to full frame, it's like, Okay, now you're just laughing at yourself in a circus. You're wearing a diaper in a circus. You have no standout features. You cost the same or more than other brands. Your sensor is tiny. What do you have? How are you still alive? But that may be all about to change. Olympus is working on something, and I'm afraid to even gaze upon it. If they do what I think they're capable of doing, this could be something. This could be something here. If there's one thing Olympus is better than anyone else at, it's stabilization. They invented it, they perfected it. The Panasonic G9 is close, but I don't think that the Olympus suffers from the same wobbly bullshit that the G9 suffers from with the wide-angle glass. It's a problem on Panasonic cameras. The IBIS is amazing, but when you get into that like 7, 8mm, 10mm zone, it wobbles in the corners and it's weird on super wide. That's why I didn't get the Laowa 7.5mm. That would have been the perfect thing, but it wobbles and it's weird. It's weird. Whereas Olympus doesn't seem to have that problem. They fixed it. It's different. It's a different mechanism. They're better at it. If they improve it even further, we're talking like 10 stops of stabilization love. We might be fun times in the mouth. Olympus has some decent lenses as well. Why is that so hard to say? Lenses as well? It's a stupid bunch of words together. They have good lenses. The 1.2 lineup, they're pro lenses. I could dig it. With good stabilization, the one thing they have to fix though is the autofocus. They teased us. They put phase detection autofocus in it, but they didn't do it right. They forgot to turn it on or something. It's like it's in the camera, but they didn't turn it on. So if for this next camera, they turn it on. And Olympus does the flippy screen. So it's like, I'm curious because I don't think I need a full frame. I don't think anybody needs a full frame camera for this type of video. We're shooting on a sensor the size of a peanut, a broken piece of a peanut. Nobody gives a shit. If Olympus can make a light, stable camera with good autofocus, flippy screen, I think I would lean towards it over anything Panasonic has right now. Why not? Panasonic is moving on to full frame. They're gonna neglect the Micro Four Thirds a bit, I think. I think they're still gonna make the GH6 and all that upgrade stuff, but how much attention are they gonna focus on it? It has to be lacking. Full frame is gonna pull away some attention, it has to. So Olympus could really dominate themselves if they focus on the Micro Four Thirds system, like remaining small. You have to be smaller than a full frame camera. I mean, right now the Olympus OMD EM1 Mark 7.5 LX7 811 is the same size of a Sony a7 III pretty much. So you throw some of those pro lenses on there, it's like you don't even have a size advantage and you're not full frame, you're a sissy little loser. But if you offer something that Sony can't ever offer, like a flip out screen and better stabilization than anybody in the world, and your autofocus actually works, and it's tough, you can film in the winter and throw it to a camel and he kicks it back to you and you get the whole thing on tape. Rugged cameras that can survive a sandstorm. You might have some advantages, and I would consider buying it. So I'm super curious about what they're going to do with the EM1 OMD Mark III 15A1786. What do you think it's going to have? Do you think they're going to put something like, oh my god, nobody thought of that? Like Canon did the touch bar thing and it just sucks. Everybody I've ever seen is like, oh, that's actually really annoying. I disable it. I actually ripped it out of the camera. It's like they tried something, didn't work. Do they not test these things? It's like, oh, let's put that on. Should we test it? I don't think so. Just, it's a bar. You touch it, it'll work. Well, it's just that everybody that's tried it so far in the company has said it's not working. They don't get it, Samuel. They don't move right. They don't move it. You gotta glide it. We do it, just it gets stuck and it goes too far when you swipe one way. There's no control on it, like they want a dial. Should we just put a dial in? I'm gonna dial 911 if you don't shut the fuck. So I'm curious if anybody chose Olympus as their video camera. Post it down below. Which one do you have and why do you have it? Why did you choose it over Panasonic? They work together, but they don't. It's like Panasonic doesn't really work with Olympus lenses. They don't have the DFD, depth from D loser technology. Just doesn't sync up. They're more like brothers that hate each other. It's not really a tag team of the future. So I think we're done. Olympus might have some hope. We'll see what happens, but it's not a lot of hope. It's just a little bit of hope. The hope is smaller than their sensor even, but it's enough to keep alive, just like Frederick Olympus Smith did in the year 708. If he made it, you can make it. If you look deep inside your heart, you'll find a reason to live, as children paint your death. I believe in you, and we're done. Thanks for watching. Consider thumbing up the video if you liked it, and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.